Yo! What's going on, everybody? You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green, and we are 28 sleeps away from the season opener where the New York Knicks will take on the Boston Celtics at the TD Garden when it is ring night for the Boston Celtics. Coming up on today's show, we got to talk about Mitchell Robinson. Probably going to miss the first 3, maybe 4 months of the NBA season. There's some rumors out there that the Knicks are already and have been looking at centers as trade targets. We're going to break both of those players down. And also, Knicks, I got some good news when it comes to the injury report. We've talked a lot about bad injury news on this channel for quite some time. But when it comes to Jalen Brunson and OG Anunoby, maybe the 2 most important players on this team, the Knicks, they got some good injury news, and I'm always here for a little double dose of good news. We got 76 people in the building. Let me get a real one roll call as Patrick Seaman back in the saddle. Not too big time for Knicks Now anymore. He's here. He's there. He's everywhere. Patrick Seaman, you were hating on me while we were building these graphics for today's show. I just think that you forgot how good this basketball team was.
No. I think Marshall Green might be one of the bigger Julius Randle supporters out there right now.
See, what's awesome is I get comments every video saying I'm a Julius Randle hater and I'm a Julius Randle supporter, which means I'm straight and narrow in my takes, and I feel like I'm doing a good job of walking that tightrope.
You're a numbers guy. You're a numbers guy, and the numbers favor Julius, but you're also an eye test guy. The eye test does not favor Julius.
Look, all I'm going to say is the advanced analytics tell me that Julius Randle is going to be good this year. I don't know what those advanced analytics are. Just kidding. We're going to talk about those on today's show. But how about Julius Randle as the 4th best player in a starting lineup, just like lay the ball up and get rebounds and pass and make smart plays?
I don't know if that's him.
We're going to find. It's now or never. He's kind of.
The only thing with the Knicks is, I could see them starting off the year 26-5, and Julius could be averaging a very efficient 18 to 22 points. And I'll still have my concerns come playoff time.
What if Randle shows up in the playoffs, though, and the Knicks are healthy?
Are you willing to take a year of this playoff run just trying to figure out if Julius Randle can?
I think you have to. I think that's where you are at this point. I'm not sure there's any other option you can roll with. I don't. Shout out to Knicks fan 13 says first, let's get a real one roll call. If you're a real one, you love the Knicks and you bleed orange and blue and you're here for the show, give me a real one down in the comments and we're giving shout outs on today's video. Gary Saunders in the building. What's up, my man? Daniel's hanging out, says, hey. Franchise J says, what's good, chat? Winston Shea in the building. Courage is hanging out. Eric Noah, my man, what up? The Toby's here. Feelings to Footage Media. I thought it said foot massage, and I thought we were talking a little Deshaun Watson. Justin's in the building, says, sup, Marsh and Patrick. What up, man? B. Biggs is hanging out. Keith Jackson, real one, let's go. Jorge Herrera says the Bulls should sign Derrick Rose. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think they should, too. They're going to be a bad team this year. Might as well give them or their fans something to watch.
That's sympathetic. That's some simp shit.
For who?
The Bulls.
It's Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
You want the fans to show up every day and be like, and also Bulls got 6 guys from Chicago.
Oh, Chicago feel?
Chicago feel. They're going to listen to D Rose in that locker room.
Oh, Lordy. Nice says, is there any news on the center position? We have 2 players that the New York Knicks are rumored to be interested in via a trade. We're going to talk about that on today's show. What up, Scott's Card and more? What up? Winston's in the building. BX banging. NY repping. What up, my guy? Jorge Herrera. White Lotus. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to everybody in the building. We appreciate y'all. Over 150 people watching.
Wow.
If you could, please hit that thumbs up icon. How about this? Once you get to 100 likes, we'll start today's show. How about we just dive right into it? If we get to 100 likes here, we'll start today's show. A4 says Randle for center. Patrick, what do you think about a small ball lineup for the Knicks with Randle at the 5, OG at the 4, Bridges at the 3, Devo or Hart at the 2, or Bridges at the 2 with Hart at the 3, and Brunson, Mr. Chicago at the point guard spot?
Well, as Mr. Chicago, I know Tom Thibodeau probably won't love running that.
But he already said he is. He said we could see it for 10 to 15 minutes per game. Just not for long stretches.
Yeah. Not for long stretches. I mean, if the Knicks are down, 10, 11 points, second half rolls around, like I could see late in the third quarter them going to that. I mean, that would be the best offensive team you could put out there. Just go 5 out.
Why don't you just blitz teams with it?
Just
How do you
come out the
guard
jump
that?
with that?
How do you guard that?
You play one-on-one with Julius Randle. I think that's how you guard it. But then again, if you're just flying in rotation, there is no like.
You can't help off, especially if that guy that is DiVincenzo was in and not Josh Hart. Then you got 4 people around him that shoot 40% from 3.
And if you are looking like in the future, a matchup with the Sixers and the Celtics, if they're running Porzingis and Embiid, you go 5 out, have those guys just get tired, run around. I do not hate it.
I think it could work, man. I think it could work.
The one thing I do want to call you out on, I feel like you're underrating Jericho Sims just a little bit.
I'm also underrating Ariel Huckporty. That's what people are telling me.
Who I also asked Marsh, who the hell is that guy before the show? Maybe I'll ask the chat this too. Like, would you be confident, maybe him not starting, but just as a backup big? He gets 20, 25 minutes a night. Are you cool with that?
No.
No?
No. If Jericho Sims is playing 25 minutes a night, the Knicks are in a bad spot. That's my take on that. I think he's a developmental big who still needs to work. There are some signs that I think point to the fact that he can be a serviceable player in the NBA, but we're trying to go win a championship. We're trying to put another banner in the rafters at Madison Square Garden, and I'm not so sure you could do that if Jericho Sims is playing playoff minutes for you. Maybe he proves me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong. I want Jericho Sims to be the next great center in New York Knicks history. I'm just not so sure that we could do that. I think that there's a big trade coming. I do. You made a big trade 2 years ago for Josh Hart. You made a big trade for OG Anunoby. You made a big trade for Bojan Bogdanovic. I think the center that's going to start playoff game number 1 for the New York Knicks is not on this roster right now. That's where I'm at on that. Keith Jackson says, who do you think the Knicks will pick up at center? I don't have any strong feeling, to be honest with you, about who they're going to pick up at this point. That's definitely one thing we're going to have to tweak the currency form on that somewhere. But shout out to my man Rodrigo coming in with a super chat. My man, we got a new super chat look on the show. Shout out to Rodrigo. We appreciate you, my man. He says 2 rookies, 2 second-round picks, and Jericho for Jalen Duren.
2 rookies.
So we're saying Pacome Dadier and Ariel Huckporty with 2 second-round picks and Jericho Sims for Jalen Duren. I think the Detroit Pistons tell you no. I think if the Detroit Pistons are going to trade Jalen Duren, they're going to want a first-round pick back. You just drafted him in the lottery. He's still not even 23 years old. He got better from rookie to sophomore season. And I just don't put yourselves in the Pistons' shoes, right? Why would the Pistons make this trade? Jalen Duren is potentially a starting center in the NBA. I'm not sure you want to turn him into 2 second-round picks, Jericho Sims and Ariel Huckporty with Pacome Dadier.
Yeah.
When people always ask me about trades, I put myself in the seat of the general manager for the team we're doing the trade for. If Rodrigo, you called me up and said, yo, Marsh, give me Jalen Duren for Pacome Dadier, Ariel Huckporty, 2 second-round picks, and Jericho Sims, I'm telling you no way, no how. If I'm the Knicks and they offer me that trade, absolutely I'm doing that. But I don't think that's enough for the Detroit Pistons to go ahead and make that trade. I think if the Pistons are going to give you Jalen Duren, they're going to want at least a first-round pick back.
All right, what if it was, instead of 2 seconds, 1 second, 1 first?
If all it costs to get Jalen Duren is Pacome Dadier, Ariel Huckporty, Jericho Sims, and 1 first-round pick, I would do it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely do it. I think Duren could be the starting center of the future for the New York Knicks. I like his upside, the athleticism. Has to grow more on that defensive end, but he's got all the intangibles and athleticism to do so. And if you could just, this is going to sound super sus, but he's a moldable ball of clay right now on that side of the floor. You give that to Tom Thibodeau, and he could turn him into one of the best defensive centers in this league.
Definitely.
Just because of his instincts, athleticism, and he's got the size to be a big center in this league.
Also, centers, I feel like you got to have a high motor. I feel like Duren does. I feel like he wants it. We see guys like Ayton where he has all the skills, but the intangibles with him aren't really there. But Duren, I'm all in on that for New York.
Rodrigo, We appreciate you, my man. And then OG Don Rafa coming in with a $10 super chat. Shout out to my guy, #1 fan. Nah, man, we appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for making New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports your one-stop shop for everything orange and blue. If you got a comment, if you got a question, bro, just drop it in the chat and I'll respond to it. Or if you just got a take, give me your hottest take on the Knicks this year. We could just chop it up.
Also, our new super chat thing, if you guys add those little stickers, I think they call them, they now pull them. So
is this what you've been working on while you've been gone? Getting emojis on screen and a new super chat look? What have you been doing?
This has actually been all me. I would take full credit for this. Just don't tell our COO, Brett Scott.
Yeah, do not tell him. John Connor in the building. What up? Joey DeLuca in the building. Justin hanging out. Justin says, I'd rather trade Deuce McBride, which most fans wouldn't like, or we just give Ariel Huck-Porty a chance. Like, what's wrong with giving a rookie center a chance? You don't draft a center just to waste him. What I would say to that is, Justin, it's unfair to Ariel Huck-Porty to put that kind of expectation on him when you picked him with the last pick in the second round. The Knicks are a team that's trying to win a championship this year. You don't make Ariel Huck-Porty a part of your rotation unless you have to. I just want everyone to pump those brakes on the Ariel Huck-Porty train real quick. I don't think it's all that fair to him, and I don't think it's – I'm not going to say it's dumb, but it's –
It would just you're just wasting a run, I feel like.
Yeah. I don't know. That's where I'm at on that. Ty Clemens in the building. What up, Ty Clemens? That's my dog right there. He said, let's go, Marshall. Had to buy the new black Real One t-shirt. It's a sick shirt, man. It's a sick shirt. Shout out to my man, Ty Clemens. Always showing love. Always being a real one. We appreciate you. Bing Bong says, Huck-Porty is not a baby, Marshall. You play him with expectations.
What's up with this Huck-Porty?
Knicks fans love their rookies. They love their rookies.
Well, one thing is their head coach doesn't love rookies. Like, that's also an aspect of this. Tibbs is not going to be comfortable all the coverages he's running just throwing in a rookie center.
I agree with you, man. Huck-Porty's gonna have to earn his minutes through practice. And look, maybe we get to a spot where Huck-Porty's got to play due to injuries. But if they do, I don't think it's going to work out all too well for the Knicks. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope Ariel Huck-Porty becomes the next great center to ever play for the New York Knicks. I think we'd all be shocked if that were to happen, though. Hey, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. I don't know ball. I just come up here and talk. Bing Bong New York says Huck-Porty is not a baby. I already read that. James Clemente says Knicks have to give up Deuce to get a good center back. It's that simple if you want quality back. Look, you got to give to get in this league.
Maybe the campaign signing was a little Deuce insurance. Like, if we do have to include Deuce, we got campaign as the backup guard.
And you go out and get a little Landry Shamet so he could be your second backup to DiVincenzo instead. Look, like if you're just looking at it from 5,000 feet out, like, yes, if the Knicks want to add a talented player to this team, they're going to have to trade a talented player. And the only talented player that I think that they could trade, it's not going to be anyone in the starting five. It's not going to be DiVincenzo, and it's not going to be Josh Hart. It's going to be Miles McBride, and I don't know if I would trade Miles McBride at this point. He's a friend of the show. He's a real one. I like Miles McBride and his potential. I think he could be a weapon for the New York Knicks. There's not many guys that can go out and guard Steph Curry in a regular season game and shut him down and then give you 29 on the other end. Deuce McBride can do that. He did that, and I think he's only scratching the surface of who he could be in this league.
And if you do get a matchup with the Bucks, like, that's a great guy to put on Dame.
Yeah,
like run around screen.
Because you don't really have an elite small guard. Like, no. Seeps, what did the Knicks do when they were in trouble against Tyrese Maxey? Go get him, Deuce.
Yeah.
Knicks didn't have anyone then guard Tyrese Maxey. There's Deuce McBride. He's a weapon for the New York Knicks. And sometimes with these great teams we see every once in a while, Patrick, you need to be able to play different styles and different brands of basketball. And having Deuce McBride can allow you to do that. You can go two small guards with the defensive guy next to Jalen Brunson. I wouldn't be so quick to trade Deuce McBride unless I know I'm getting a center that elevates this team right now and in the future.
And Hart and DiVincenzo, great defenders, but they're not necessarily the best small guard defenders out there. Like, that's why Deuce is so valuable.
Yeah, I mean, Devo did an okay job on Tyrese Maxey, but he didn't do nearly the job that Deuce McBride did.
And like Justin saying, Marsh, you love Deuce McBride, but we still have a problem at the center position. We better hope we don't get exposed at the center position opening night. But if you trade Deuce for a center, you will then create another problem, and you're not able to guard
on the perimeter like you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Knicks are in a tough spot when it comes to finding a center to add to this team.
Yeah.
They're in a great spot everywhere else, but when it comes to adding a center, they're definitely in a tough spot. Buddy Bear coming in with a $2 super chat says, welcome back, Seeps. I will take the over for sure. Over on 53.5 wins. Where are you at on that?
I like the over. I think Knicks are going to be a great regular season team. Would not be shocked if they're the first seed in the Eastern Conference.
When you say that, it sounds like you don't think they're going to be a good playoff team.
Well, number 30 is that is the question.
How come Mikal Bridges has become underrated since becoming a New York Knick?
I think it was just a year he had with the Nets last year.
Okay.
Like, people forget how good he truly is.
So why are we acting like if Randle literally gives you nothing like he did last year in the playoffs, you weren't one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals with no OG, no Mitchell Robinson, and then you get back OG, you get back Mitchell Robinson, you add a Mikal Bridges. I don't understand any hate on the Knicks. I don't. I think they're the best roster in basketball, and that takes my bias out of it. I think they're the deepest team in the league.
Yeah, I probably them or the Thunder. Celtics, top 3 rosters. The only thing is with Randle is like he's going to have to be the 4th best player. Can Randle be a 4th best player? Like, obviously on paper, he is a great second option, but like, does his game translate to being a 4th best guy? Like, can he just be in the flow of the offense? He doesn't need the ball. Like
11-1 in the 3 games with the guys. 11-1 in the 12 games with the 3 guys.
I hear you. I just want to see a playoff series where these guys can adjust. You can scout them. You can figure them out. Like,
I agree, and I've said this a million times, and I wholeheartily believe it. If regular season Randle shows up in the playoffs, the Knicks will be NBA champions.
And I totally agree with that.
Will he do it? Will he do it? That's what we're going to find out. Rodrigo coming in with a 50,000. No, I'm just kidding. It's a different form of.
I think it's Chilean.
Chilean?
Yeah.
We're worldwide, baby. Shout out to Rodrigo. Everyone drop an RA in the chat for me. Let Rodrigo feel some love. He's the early MVP at today's show. He says, we need picks, better rookies in drafts. Duran could be a Knicks in that trade to Detroit. Finally let go Obi for nothing. I hope to see my first banner for my Knicks. Salutes from Ikike Chile?
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate that. Everyone drop an RA in the chat for Rodrigo. Look, you got to be happy with the way the Knicks have put this roster together. They've gone through multiple different phases to get it done, trades, free agency. Leon Rose deserves all the credit in the world. But for me, I'm not so much worried about adding rookies to this team anymore. I'm worried about adding win-now basketball players, players you can add to this team that are going to make them more likely to win an NBA championship. And you got to get maybe only thing this team needs to be perfect is a starting center.
Yeah.
That's it, in my opinion. I don't know where you get one of those. I don't know how you get one of them. I've spent thousands of hours this offseason talking about how the Knicks need to go out and get a center and different ways they could do that. And I haven't found a perfect way to do it just yet. So, yeah, like I understand a lot of nobody loves their rookies more than New York Knicks fans. Yeah. But we're out of that water. We're in a different pool now. We're in the contender pool. And we're trying to add contending pieces, Rodrigo.
And the only rookie that, like, the Knicks could get is, like, the Tyler Kolek type of rookie, where they're a 4-year college guy. Yeah. Like, they can come in first 3 years, be impactful.
And look, we got to remember who our head coach is, Tom Thibodeau. He's not really one that hands out minutes to a rookie all that often. But I definitely understand it, Rodrigo. And, look, we're all hoping for that banner this year, my man. Salute to you. Thanks for being a real one. We appreciate you, Brody. Niall Dimitri coming in with a $2 super chat. He said, hi, all. Let's go, Knicks. My man, LGK's in the chat. Let's go, Niall. Let's go. We got 225 people watching. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. Once we get to 100 likes, we're going to dive into Yes, we're going to dive into the trade rumors on Isaiah Stewart and Nick Richards. Both big men in the Eastern Conference are supposedly players the Knicks have been talking about trading for and have on their radar. And then we've also got some good news when it comes to the injury news for Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson. So we got some good news to get to. 240 people watching. Shout out to you guys. Are y'all ready for Knicks basketball? We're 28 sleeps away. 28 sleeps away from the Knicks beating the Celtics on opening night to spoil ring night in Boston.
So we got preseason in 2 weeks?
Preseason in about, two-ish weeks.
Wow.
2-ish weeks.
Trade Mitch and Randall for Wemby. That would be nice, huh?
I'm in.
That would be the best defensive team of all time.
I'll give him my whole right arm, too. If we could add Victor Wembanyama, I'd slice my right arm off. Mr. 66 Kemble, what up, man?
What up, 6'6"?
Can we hit the like button? 230 watching, 54 likes. What are we doing? Hit the thumbs up icon if you have liked the video. Type me, we'll give some shout outs. John Connor says, can we trade Mitch while he's injured? Yes, you can trade him while injured, but on the other side of that coin, it's like who's trading for an injured Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah.
Again, there's a reason I've been so passionate about the Knicks needing to move on from Mitchell Robinson and finding a replacement because I just think he's too immature. I think he's too injury prone, and I think he's very limited in what he could do. He's really good with his limitations, elite rim protector, elite offensive rebounder, but outside of that, he holds you back on offense because he can't do anything outside the dunker spot. He can't play make. He can't space the floor. He can't make free throws. I think he puts a ceiling on this Knicks offense. That's why I was so upset that they lost Isaiah Hartenstein.
And that's also a good point. Late in these playoff games, if he's on the floor and a team's down by 6, there's 3 minutes left. They are going hack a Mitch Rob.
And then you're going to have to adjust. And then you go out with the new death lineup. Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. People say DiVincenzo in that lineup, and I get that. But for me, Seeps, I'm looking at it through Tom Thibodeau's eyes. If Tom Thibodeau is taking a center off the floor, what does he want someone on the floor to do? Rebound the basketball, and that's Josh Hart. I get it, DiVincenzo, when you're playing a true 5 out, and that's almost unstoppable and hard to guard, but what do I think Tom Thibodeau will do? He'll lean on Josh Hart more in that lineup than DiVincenzo, but that's just a guess. That's where I'm at. We'll see. Bing Bong New York says Mitch weighs 280 pounds. Bro don't want to lose weight. Trade him. I think that the whole entire development of the body of Mitchell Robinson went wrong. Go look at what he looked like coming out of high school, technically, when he came into the NBA compared to now. I don't think he put on the best weight in the world, and I think that's why we're getting some stress injuries in the foot. But I'm not a doctor. I'm just a YouTuber that wears a headset. G5 Wheeze, $2 super chat. Shout out to my guy. Says, Marsh, can you do that with your hand?
Star Trek thing.
You can do that? I can't do it. My pinky is weird. I can do it in this hand, but I can't do it in this one. I'm weird. He says, we need a 5 before training camp. I don't think you're going to get one before training camp. I think the Knicks are committed to rolling up until mid-December, seeing what they got, looking within, and then evaluating where they need to be.
And also, trade targets will pop up during the year. There will be a random team who everybody thinks is going to be good. They may be bad. I don't know, what if the Houston Rockets and Steven Adams, what if they get off to a terrible start? They want to play Sengun more. They could trade him. So,
Levi's the best says, did you guys see Josh Hart tweeted? Yeah, Josh Hart's letting everybody know he doesn't play center. The funniest part, I think you saw, he said, I play 1 through 4. Someone quote tweeted it with the hymn of the past throwing it into the stands last year, and he goes, okay, 2 through 4.
Oh, can I ask Knicks fans, hey, Marshall Green, what are your thoughts on Jalen Brunson being a diehard Eagles fan and Josh Hart being a diehard Commanders fan? Does it rub you guys the wrong way at all? Or do you respect them for sticking with their hometown teams?
I hate it.
You don't like it?
I hate it. I absolutely hate it, man. I really, really do.
Because they would embrace the Giants. They would embrace, maybe they would have went Jets, but.
Bing Bong says Midtown McHale or Broadway Bridges.
Broadway Bridges.
I like Broadway Bridges. I like that too. Dorkosaurus Rex says that was a huge L for the Knicks in retrospect, in my opinion. Oh, losing the summer league center. I'm not gonna lose sleep on that. Not gonna lose sleep on that. My man Rashad in the building. What up, dog? He says, Seeps, congratulations on the Vikings' hot start.
Hey, Giants lost to a really good football team week 1.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
I mean, if you think about it like this, the Giants should have beat the Commanders, who just beat the Bengals on Monday Night Football, and the Giants lost to a really good Vikings team. Maybe the Giants are actually a really good football team.
Sneaky good. Feisty.
Maybe the Giants are really good, and I just don't know what the hell I'm talking about. What up, Tango? Says, salute, Marshall. I think we're stuck with what we have until December. I agree, man. I agree. All righty, let's jump into these trade rumors. If you haven't yet, please hit that thumbs up icon. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Carl, to my opinion, to my knowledge, Carl, they have one open roster spot left for training camp. I believe one open roster spot left for training camp. All righty, hit the thumbs up icon, share it, tell a friend, and let's dive into today's show. Coming up on today's show, we're going to react to the latest trade rumors that surround this basketball team following the Mitchell Robinson news of him missing potentially the first 3 months of the NBA season. The Knicks have been linked to Isaiah Stewart, and they have been linked to Nick Richards when it comes to potential trade targets. So my question to you before we start today's show, when we go into an in-depth dive on Stewart and Richards, is I want to hear from you. Pick a big man. Who would you rather have the Knicks trade for? Stewart, Richards? Sound off for me. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate every single person for stopping by as we break down the latest trade rumors. And the trade rumors are heating up at the center position with the news coming in that Mitchell Robinson is not going to play in the season opener, and he may not be able to return until December or January. This quote from a recent Athletic article stuck out to me, saying league sources told The Athletic that New York, despite the Robinson news, is confident in the team's depth and versatility. Oh, yeah? Are you? You're confident in Precious Achiuwa, Jericho Sims, and Ariel Huck-Porty. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Just like OG Anunoby was dealing with a day-to-day injury last year, and then he had to have surgery. Just like Julius Randle was going to be able to come back from injury, and then he got ruled out for the season. Just like Bojan Bogdanovic's injury wasn't serious. Don't ever believe the New York Knicks. Everything they say is calculated. Everything they say is thought through. Because you know what? The Knicks know they need to go out and make a trade for a center. The Knicks know that they cannot depend on Mitchell Robinson to be healthy, and they also know that they can't depend on Mitchell Robinson to come back and be healthy. Look, I like Precious Achiuwa as a player. I think Jericho Sims is a great third center, and I like the pick of Ariel Huck-Porty in the second round with the last pick. But he's years away from playing. I think Jericho Sims is a developmental guy. And Precious Achiuwa is a bench big that is a better 4 than 5. I'm not sure I like Achiuwa starting at the 5, and I don't think Tibbs will do that. I think Jericho Sims will actually start at the 5 this year for the Knicks. And I don't really love that either. James L. Edwards III, who covers the Knicks now for The Athletic, he has linked the Knicks to Isaiah Stewart, saying, quote, New York has spent a good portion of the last few months scouring the league to address its lack of depth at the center spot, according to league sources. The team has shown interest in trading for Pistons Isaiah Stewart, among others. And Isaiah Stewart is a name that we've mentioned a couple of different times on this channel as a trade target for the New York Knicks. I've been told that Stewart has some fans inside the New York Knicks organization. There's some things, though, that definitely give me some pause for concern with Stewart. He's 6'8", not the prototypical size for a center, but he does have a 7'4" wingspan. So what he lacks in height, he makes up in length. He is 23 years old, so still a very young player, but I think that it's going to cost a little bit more to trade for Stewart than what some Knicks fans initially think. I will say this, though. Anyone that tries to fight LeBron James like Isaiah Stewart did is cool with me, and they can play with the New York Knicks. Because it's F-Bron, and if you ain't scared like Isaiah Stewart is not scared, you can play for my basketball team any day of the week. I also like what he does when it comes to playing basketball. Not a perfect player by any means, but he does things in a unique way on the basketball floor. He doesn't protect the rim quite like Mitchell Robinson, but he can get there and affect shots, averaging 0.8 blocks last year, 0.7 the year before, and the prior 2 years over a block per night. But it's been his growth on offense that I have fallen in love with as a player. He's a modern-day big. I know he's a little bit shorter than we would like, but he makes up with that with strength, size, and length. He's also grown tremendously when it comes to shooting the basketball. When he entered the NBA, he shot just 1 3 a night, and he converted at just 33%. Now he's shooting 4 threes a night, and last year he knocked it down at a 38.3% clip. Adding Stewart would add another dimension to this Knicks offense. He would be able to space you out. He'd be able to run a pick and pop with Jalen Brunson and or Mikal Bridges or Campaign or Tyler Kolek. This is a guy that shot 43.8% from the right corner last year with Detroit, and he shot 39.6% from the top of the key from three. So that gives you another weapon. He's not the playmaker that a guy like Isaiah Hartenstein is, but he's a definite better shooter, and he would bring some respectability to the center spot, and really, defense have to respect it because they'll space him out. And if you can go 5 wide, and if you could spread it out with the Knicks, Jalen Brunson's going to kill you off the dribble every single time. When you talk about a trade, you always got to worry about the contract, especially with this new CBA, and he's on a flat deal. $15 million this year, $15 million next year, $15 million in 2026, 2027, and then there is a team option in 2027, 2028 at $15 million. I want to say this about Isaiah Stewart. Stewart last season was one of only 9 players to shoot over 38% from three-point range with a minimum 150 three-pointers attempted, while also averaging more than 6 rebounds per game. So he definitely has some elite juice, and he plays a unique brand of basketball. The Athletic came out with a trade idea that would land Stewart in a New York Knicks uniform, and it was the Knicks giving up Mitchell Robinson, Miles McBride, and a 2025 first-round pick that the Knicks own that actually comes from the Detroit Pistons. The Knicks would get back Isaiah Stewart and 2 second-round picks. I don't love this trade idea, to be quite honest with you, because you're giving up Mitchell Robinson, which I don't mind. You got to do that to match the salary. But you're also giving up Miles McBride, and you're also giving up a first-round pick. Right now, the Knicks only have 2 tradable first-round picks. You give one up for Isaiah Stewart, you're pretty much stuck in your ways with the current roster construction. I think Stewart's a good player. This might be a little bit too much for me, but it might be the price to get a deal done. Coming up next, the Knicks have Nick Richards on their trade radar as well. The big man for the Charlotte Hornets, he has been linked to the orange and blue, so we're going to break down those reports as well. But first, make sure you are hooked up and you are supporting the show. Go to the chatsports.com/realknicks and get your Knicks Now by Chat Sports Real One t-shirt. We've got the blue shirt, we got the black shirt, and we're ready to roll for the 2024 NBA season. Rep the show, rep the team, be a real one. chatsports.com/realknicks. All right, Nick Richards is a name that we have talked about at length on this channel. He was linked to the Knicks dating all the way back prior to the NBA draft. When NBA free agency opened up, we were talking about him then. A true 7-footer, 245 pounds, 26 years old, and he just had his best year in the NBA yet. Finally got to play a good chunk of minutes this year for Charlotte, and he gave you 10 points per game, and he gave you 8 rebounds as well. 1.1 blocks per game, some advanced analytics on him. If you just want to pop those up, I could just read off on those. When it comes to his offensive rebounding quality, he ranks in the 93rd percentile. So he's a guy that can contribute on the offensive rebounding, and that would bring back the identity that the Knicks are losing when it comes to a Mitchell Robinson injury and Isaiah Hartenstein injury. His defensive rebounding quality, 75th percentile. His rim defense is actually not all that well. 66th percentile, just 3.1% better than the average defender, meaning when he defends shots, he only lowers the shot field goal percentage by 3.1% compared to the average defender. He loves to contest shots at the rim, though. The 100th percentile, 52.2% of the shots at the rim when he's on the floor are contested, but he only blocks, only is not the right word, he blocks 3.9% of those, which is the 89th percentile. So you're getting a guy that not elite at any real thing in the NBA, but he does a lot of different things at an average level. And I thought it would be a good idea to kind of compare him to Mitchell Robinson because that's the guy's spot that he would be taking with these injuries. And I want to focus at the bottom part of this graphic that you see on screen, that crafted DPM, that's an all-in-one analytic that pretty much shows you how much of an impact do they bring on the defensive end. Whereas Nick Richards, he's in the 46th percentile. Mitchell Robinson's in the 90th percentile. So Robinson is a much better defender than Richards. Richards also just in the 4th percentile when it comes to deflections, whereas Mitchell Robinson is in the 66th percentile. Robinson is no doubt about it, a better player. And I'm not trying to compare that. I'm just trying to put more color to the picture and what you guys can craft in your own mind and opinion. He's no Mitchell Robinson, but he is a solid player, and I think he has a little bit better touch on the offensive end than Robinson, but he doesn't bring you what he does on the defensive end. And I don't know if I'm in love with the player of Nick Richards. I think he's a better center than Jericho Sims. I think he's better than Ariel Huck-Porty. And the only reason I would like him more at the center position than Presta Achua is because of the size. But I do think Achua is actually a better basketball player than Richards. The Athletic came out with a trade idea for this too, and it was Richards and a second-round pick going to the Knicks with Miles McBride and Keita Bates-Diop going to the Hornets. I think you're giving up the best player in that deal and Miles McBride, and maybe that's something the Knicks are going to have to do. They're going to have to give up McBride for a center that's not as good. Look, Richards is a backup big, in my opinion, and I think if you're giving up Miles McBride in a trade, you need to go out and get a starting center. And I'm just not so sure that Richards can do that on a championship contender, and I'm not so sure Stewart is a starting big either. Like, if you roll out Isaiah Stewart as your starting center, you're a really small team. 6'8" at center, 6'8" at power forward, 6'7" at small, I'll call OG 6'8", then 6'6" at, so you're big 2 through 4, but your center is just 6'8". And the Knicks' identity under Tom Thibodeau is big, strong, dominating the glass and rim protection. And Stewart doesn't really bring that. Does have a big wingspan. He's more of a switch defender that can guard guards on the perimeter. But look, I'm not in love with either of these trade ideas, to be quite honest with you. If you had to pick one of these trades, which one would it be? If you want the Isaiah Stewart trade to happen, type 1 for me down in the comments. If you like the Nick Richards trade a little bit more, type 2 for me down in the comments section. To be quite honest with you, look, I don't love either of these trades. And I guess if you put a gun to my head and I had to pick which one it would be, I'd roll with trade 1 because I think Stewart is a better player than Richards. But, like, I'm not in love with either of these options. And honestly, I don't think that this is settling. Accepting a trade like this is settling. And this is a trade out of desperation. Either of these trades are desperation moves. And I think Leon Rose is thinking bigger picture, thinking better, trying to get an elite player at that center spot. That's where I'm at on that. I think Leon Rose knows that this next move might be his last big move, and I think that that's going to come down to trying to add a long-term starting center for the New York Knicks. I don't want Nick Richards to be a long-term starting center for this team. I don't want Isaiah Stewart to be a long-term starting center for this team. Don't rush right now to go out and make a bad trade. The good trade will always fall in your lap. You just got to be patient. Leon Rose has showed that, and he hasn't missed on a trade in a long, long time. Make sure you are following me on social media, because if we get any more news, any more updates, any more rumors about the Knicks in a trade, first place you're going to hear about is on my Twitter, and then we'll have a video out on Instagram as well. So hit me up over there, and let's go Knicks. I just think that the Knicks can do better than both of these guys. That's just where I'm at on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either of these guys are moving a needle. It's almost like I would almost bank on Mitch Robinson getting healthy rather than giving up Deuce for either of these guys.
Exactly. If I'm giving up Deuce McBride, I got to go get a guy like Walker Kessler.
Yeah.
A guy that can continue to grow, because Deuce McBride's only scratching the surface of what he's going to be.
Or even somebody saying Jonas Valanciunas in the, trade wouldn't be able to go down until probably December.
Mid-December.
I mean, I would like that option, but there's really not a lot of good choices out there at the center spot. So
that's why I was always so upset when Isaiah Hartenstein left, because I'm not going to say he was perfect, but damn, he was damn near a perfect player for this team.
And plus, he was relatively healthy his whole time. Like, he gave you insurance if Mitchell Robinson wasn't able to go. And plus, that yin and yang those two had was just special.
And the playmaking, like the dribble handoff.
Yep.
The Knicks are going to have to find a way to recreate the easy buckets that Hartenstein got you.
Like, we talked about it all the time during the playoffs. Brunson drives that little shovel pass to Hartenstein at that push shot area.
He was money. He was shooting like 85% on those this year.
That was just easy offense.
Yeah, Knicks are going to have to find another little cheat code to get some easy offense this year. I'm not going to say the loss of Isaiah Hartenstein removes the Knicks from finals contenders, but we're going to feel that loss. And it's going to take a while, I think, to minimize the impact that he no longer is going to bring to this team.
And if I want to play devil's advocate, Hartenstein did have a couple playoff games where he just no-showed.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think what was it? Obviously, he was banged up, but that Pacers series, he
wasn't that good.
Yeah.
He struggled against Embiid, and that's tough. Embiid is maybe the best offensive scorer in this league. So that's tough, but
he had his moments though where he was driving us crazy. It's not like he was perfect, but he was very good. I mean, don't want to take anything away, but
definitely going to miss him. There's no doubt about that. And look, it is what it is at this point. Got kind of screwed out of bringing him back due to a technicality of a rule that I don't think was made to cause something like this. But
and it's funny, that rule was made to have guys stay with the team that took a chance on them. And it just completely backfired on the Knicks.
Yeah, they got screwed by that. They really, really did.
The CBA is just stupid. I'm just not a fan of it.
I hate the new CBA.
Because the best part was just being like, yo, Marsh, could we trade for this guy? And now it's like, well, we got to talk about the technicalities, got to talk about the contract, because it's just so hard to get a trade down.
I agree. They're going to miss him. They're going to have to find a way to get it done, though. No one feels sorry for you. Nobody wants to see the Knicks win. You're going to have to go out and make a move. I don't know what it is, but you might have to give up somebody you don't want to give up to go improve your team. And at the end of the day, we're Knicks fans. We're not at least me. I'm a Knicks fan. I want what's best for the team. And if that means trading someone that I'm a fan of to improve the team I'm a fan of, I'm always going to be okay with that.
Yeah. If you guys could help us out, though, get questions in there. Run a little low on questions. So hashtag Knicks, or if you guys want to super chat, we'll throw up those as well. But get those in the live chat. If you guys have a center trade target that maybe we're not thinking about, please let us know.
Yeah, we're going to do a mailbag in about 15 minutes. We got another segment to talk about an injury update on Brunson, OG, and Randle. But we also love to do these mailbags where we just get to interact with you guys, answer your questions, answer your thoughts, respond to your takes. If I can have all 234 people watching right now, go down in the comments, ask a question, drop a take, drop a thought, a trade target, a trade idea. Just include hashtag Knicks in your comment. That way, producer Seeps can pop it up on screen. We got software to where we could put your comments on screen if you include hashtag Knicks. Also, all super chats that are New York Knicks applicable and relate to the New York Knicks, those will come up on the screen, and we'll respond to those as well. You will guarantee your spot in the mailbag by using hashtag Knicks. Rob Simpy says, I don't know basketball, so I have no questions.
Simpy, give me a question. You know enough.
You know enough. Simpy, thanks for being here, man. You like seeing the duo back together? The duo's back, man.
Feels good.
We're back, man. Gotham says Nets fan really exists. No, they do not. Brooklyn Nets fans do not exist. Bing Bong New York says Dwight Howard, 38. This ain't 2012. Shout out to James L. for getting his question in, and that's a good one, man.
That's a good one.
I don't know. Shout out to the Toby L. for getting a question in.
Biombo?
Will says Bismack Biombo. Just ask that question again and put hashtag Knicks in there, $ Knicks,
okay,
so we can put that up on screen.
It's crazy with some of these players. Like a guy like Biombo is a great example, where it's like they have a good 2 weeks of playoff basketball, and that's our kind of impression of them for the rest of their career. Like Roy Hibbert, he was fantastic for the Pacers in a couple playoffs run. He was terrible for the rest of his career. Same with Biombo, but.
Shout out to G5 Weez getting a question, and that's a good one, man. We appreciate that. Thank you, Will, for doing that. Rob Simpy, you're too kind, brother. You're too kind. Nat Wayne, if you just want to throw a hashtag Knicks in there, and we could dive into that. Let's jump into this injury news here on today's show. Look, we always talk about injury news, and it's bad. But I want to celebrate good injury news. The New York Knicks, they were snake bitten by the injury bug last year, and they're getting healthy, and maybe the two most important players on their team are getting healthy. Maybe all three.
Some would say this is a double dose of great news.
This is a double dose.
Doses.
Double dose of great news. Rashad says they said he found out PG-13 was sleeping with his wife and he just fell apart. Oh, Dwight Howard? Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah, I mean, that
would be tough. Didn't Bryce Young find out this week also that his girl was cheating on him?
No. The girl he's with was the chick that was with Jalen Green.
Okay.
A couple other people, but.
I was about to say, being benched and your girl cheating on you in the same week's tough. Shout out to Will.
Don't want to get on NBA or NFL talk too much. I'm a full believer in Bryce Young bouncing back with another team in his career.
I want to believe it too, but some of those plays are really bad.
Oh, they are ugly.
Carl, that's not the Carl, is it?
Baptiste?
It's not Baptiste. He said, would you do the Pistons trade if Jalen Duren was added to the deal? If Jalen Duren's added to that deal, you're going to have to give up way more.
Yeah.
I don't think the Pistons are trading Duren unless they're getting it back a first and a good player.
I think they probably view Duren and Cade as two of their untouchables. Not untouchables, but...
And I don't think that they would give up Duren and Stewart. Like, they want to keep one of those guys. Maybe I think you're asking if you swapped out Stewart for Duren, would I do that trade? Yeah, I would do it, but I think you still got to have at least a little bit more.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
Hartenstein for Deuce Kolik and Precious the Jewett. That would be funny.
I'm dead. Let's do it. All right, we got some injury news to talk about. Earlier this week, the New York Knicks got some really bad injury news when it comes to Mitchell Robinson, and the fact is he's probably going to miss the first 3 or 4 months of the NBA season. But today, we got a double dose of good news for the New York Knicks, and it focuses on OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson. Before we dive into that, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are less than a month away from the 2024 NBA season tipping off, and we're taking on the Boston Celtics on opening night, and I am launching a sub-battle against Boston Celtics today at NBA channel here at Chat Sports. If you love the Knicks, you want to go 1-0, and you hate the Boston Celtics, hit that big red sub button right now. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. I appreciate everybody for stopping by as we react to some great injury news for the New York Knicks, focused on Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and Julius Randle. Both Brunson and Anunoby are expected to be ready for training camp, and that is awesome, awesome stuff. Brett Siegel of Clutch Points came out with this report saying the good news for the Knicks is that despite some concerns surrounding their front court to begin this year, there is still plenty to be excited about. Jalen Brunson is fully healthy after suffering a broken left hand in the playoffs. OG Anunoby is back and healthy after signing a 5-year deal with the New York Knicks. Look, we were snake bitten, we being the New York Knicks, by the injury bug all of last year. Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, Josh Hart, Bojan Bogdanovic, Jalen Brunson. Seemed like if you put on that Knicks jersey, you were going to get hurt. So I'm extremely excited to talk about good injury news for this team. But it's not just Brunson, and it's not just Anunoby who seem like they are on the up and up when it comes to being ready to rock and roll for not just training camp, but preseason, the regular season, and beyond. Sounds like Julius Randle could be ready to go a little bit sooner than we initially thought. Randle, according to ESPN, said his recovery is going well, and he's expected to be ready to play by or near the start of the season. My thought on that on Randle is I wouldn't rush him back. Let him ease his way back in. We saw what happened last year at the start of the regular season when he rushed back from injury. Let him work his way back. Let him get back into game shape, and then let him play. You know why? Because if Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and Julius Randle are all healthy and they're all firing on all cylinders, the NBA is not ready for this trio. And you added Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart and DiVincenzo and McBride. But this trio last year, they put everybody on notice in the NBA. They let them know that we are the big dogs. The Knicks played 12 games. Wish it was more. 12 games with Randle, Anunoby, and Brunson. In those 12 games, they were 11-1. And of course, the only game that they lost, I went to against the Dallas Mavericks. But they weren't just beating up on the Pistons and the Wizards and the Rockets and all bad teams. They were dominating the elite teams of the NBA last year with that big three. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves by 6 points in their first game together. They beat the Philadelphia 76ers with a healthy Joel Embiid by 36. They beat Jokic and the Nuggets by 38, and they put the final nail in the coffin of the Miami Heat when they beat them by 16 before they dirtily injured Julius Randle. Wasn't dirty at all. It just sounded good. F the Heat, F Miami, F Rolly. But seriously, when those three played together, Julius, OG, and Jalen Brunson, they were by far and away the best basketball team in the NBA. They had a 128.5 offensive rating, meaning per 100 possessions, the Knicks scored 128.5 points when those three played together. They were also elite on the defensive end. They allowed 103.9 points per 100 possessions in the 285 minutes together. Remember these two numbers, 128.5 and 130.9. Because the NBA's best offensive rating in the NBA last year, 122. The Knicks were 6 points better than that when they had those big three. Their defense was also 7 points better than the best defense in the NBA. When Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson all played together, they were outscoring teams by 25 points per 100 possessions. They were dominant. And look, I don't love to get into the technicalities and all that, but if this three stays healthy, if we can have Julius Randle, OG Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson be ready to rock and roll when the playoffs start, and you guarantee me they're going to stay healthy, we're going to be in the NBA Finals, and we may be dancing outside MSG celebrating a title. Then you add in Mikal Bridges, the guy that's all of a sudden become underrated since joining the New York Knicks. He was the number one wing target for every team out there in the NBA. Then he comes to the New York Knicks, and it's like, I don't know about that. Doesn't do much. Look, I'm going to say it. The Knicks are winning the NBA title. They are. I 100% believe it. You got a top 5 coach. You got the best small guard in the NBA, and you have the deepest roster in the league. Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and hopefully a Mitchell Robinson that is healthy when you get to the playoffs. I think that's the best starting 5 that can go toe-to-toe with the Boston Celtics. What about the bench? You got a good veteran point guard in Campaign. You got a young rookie to develop behind him. Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart were playing 48 minutes a game in the playoffs, and you almost got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now they're your first 2 guys off the bench. And you got Precious Achiuwa. I think you got the best top 9 in the NBA. The New York Knicks are winning the NBA title. We're speaking it into existence. We've got more on this subject coming up in a second, but if you want to be a real one, you want to rep the Knicks this year while also showing love to Chat Sports in this channel, go to chatsports.com/realknicks. If you bleed orange and blue, go get your shirt. Be a real one. chatsports.com/realknicks. It is legitimately Eastern Conference Finals or bust for the New York Knicks this year. You just gave OG Anunoby $200+ million. You just traded the control of 6 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. You put a C on the chest of Jalen Brunson. You got his buddies here. The band is together. It is Eastern Conference Finals or bust. Because I'm tired of having home court advantage in round 2 and losing to a team like the Miami Heat and losing to Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers. It is Eastern Conference Finals or bust this year for the New York Knicks. And OG Anunoby being healthy is the key to that. OG Anunoby is the straw that stirs the drink for the New York Knicks. What he's able to do on a basketball floor, I think he affects winning just as much as any player in this team. The New York Knicks were dominant when OG Anunoby played for them in the regular season and in the playoffs. The Knicks were averaging 121 points per 100 possessions when OG Anunoby played. 1 point less than the Boston Celtics. They had a defensive rating of 107.8, 1 point better than the Minnesota Timberwolves. So you were the best team in the NBA on defense with him, and you were 1 point away from being the best offensive team in the NBA with OG Anunoby. You also only swept teams up. You beat the brakes off him. 19-2 when OG Anunoby and Jalen Brunson played together. And when those two played together, you were the best team in the NBA by any advanced analytics. You were 3 points better on offense per 100 possessions than the Boston Celtics. You were better by 7 points per 100 possessions on defense when Brunson and Anunoby played together. 19-2, and you were dominating teams. You were better by 24 points per 100 possessions when you had OG and you had Brunson playing together. Now throw in Randle. Now throw in Bridges. This team's winning the NBA Finals. They are. It's time. This is the time where Tom Thibodeau gets that last notch on his belt to make himself a Hall of Fame coach. My question to you is this, though. 53.5 wins for the New York Knicks this year. The odds makers out west have set that as the season total for the Knicks. Over, under, sound off for me. I think the Knicks might have the best record in the NBA this season in the regular season. We know how Tom Thibodeau approaches the regular season. And when you're as deep as the New York Knicks are, and you have a coach that's going to put an importance on winning games in October, November, December, and January and February, like Tom Thibodeau does, coming up with in-depth game plans unlike other teams do. This team is special. This team is scary, and they might just be a team of destiny. It takes a lot to win a championship. It does. You got to have things bounce your way. Feels like this is the year. It does. Make sure you are following me on social media. We could talk about it more over there. I'm at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter as well as on Instagram. Let's ride. Shout out to Levi's the best. Nick Davidov is in the building. Nick Davidov. I need everybody to drop an eyeball emoji for me in the chat. The GOAT of Knicks Now, Nick Davidov's in the building. Davidov, what up, man? How's your summer going, brother? Your jersey should be on the way soon, by the way. I apologize for that. I don't know what happened there. I got a lot on my plate, and I fumbled. I didn't take care of the guy that always takes care of us. What's going on, Mr. Davidov? Enjoying? Awesome. He said it's going great. Love that. Love that, love that, love that. Shout out to everybody in the building. Almost 300 people watching. That's big-time stuff right there. Shout out to Nick Davidov as well. A $10 super chat from my guy. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for always supporting this channel. It means a lot to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maya's World says, yo, what's up, Patty Seatman and also Marshy Green? What up, Maya?
What up, what up?
66 Kemble. Shout out, sir. Shout out, sir. What's going on, Mr. Kimball? That's my guy right there. All right, all right. Let's knock out this mailbag. Last call to get your questions in. Hashtag Knicks or Super Chat to be on today's show. If you want to be on the show, drop a comment down below. Just include $sign Knicks, no spaces. That way, Patrick Seaman can pop it up on screen. If you want to guarantee your question on the show, you got to send a Super Chat in, and Patrick Seaman will make sure that happens. Nat Wayne, thank you for getting a question in. We'll talk about DeAndre Ayton.
Appreciate you.
S Teacher Planner in the building. What's up, S Teacher Planner? What up, what up? Bing Bong says Brunson surrounded with shooters. Damn, he is. He is. And one thing I want to say to you, Mr. Patrick Seaman. Why is Jalen Brunson not going to get better? Because he's gotten better every single year.
And you know it, like, he's a big, he's the definition of process over results. Like,
he's good enough to overcome that one guy.
I actually do wonder, like, with his game, because it is very complete. Like, it is very complete. I just don't know what he's, like, specifically working on. Like, maybe it's free throw shooting, obviously, late in the game, but I am curious.
Just being better. Just making more shots. He's got to get back to his ISO numbers from 2022, 2023.
Yeah.
His ISO numbers in 2023, 2024 weren't all that great. A lot of factors into that. I think the defense could tilt more his way without someone bending it on the other side. Like, no, Randle keeps the defense, I think, or Randle keeps the defense more honest. So I think Randle at one point was overrated, but I think he's underrated now. I really do. I do, man. There's not many people that could do what he does. 25, 10, and 5.
Yeah. Oh, fellas, just want to try something real.
First Last says Brunson's just solidifying his moves even more, working on efficiency. I agree. I want to see him take his playmaking to another level, too.
Which I think he will this year. I don't think he's going to average 25 plus.
I don't know if I want anyone to average more than 25. Like, I want Brunson at like 22 and 8 on 50% and 40%. Give me Randle at 18 and 11. Give me Bridges at 17. OG at 15. I don't think you need a 25-point per game guy. Because we know Brunson can go get that whenever he needs to. But just where I'm at on that. Anapa, $5 super chat. What's up, bruh? Says, thank you for the love, man. Thank you for the super chat. It means a lot. Thank you. Says, do you think the Knicks make a move for a center? And if yes, who and when? Steven says, I like that answer. Appreciate you, Steven. Who's the most underrated Knick on the current roster? That's a good question. It's a good question. Do I think the Knicks make a move for a center? Yes, I think the Knicks make a move for a center. And if yes, who and when? When I don't think the Knicks make a trade for a center before December. I think it'll be around December when they make a move. Some guys I'd keep my eyes on: Jonas Valanciunas, Walker Kessler. What'd you say?
You guys want Vooch? Nikola Vucevic? Offensively, push shot be there.
Yeah, we tried to give you pressure to for him.
On the 3 for 90?
3 for 60. 2 void years. 2 void years.
2 void years.
Well, I'll give you an in-depth answer in the mailbag on this, Anapa. I'll give you an in-depth answer on the mailbag on this. My man Jonathan in the building. What's up, dog? What up, Jonathan? Ronald, what up?
Oh, Levi's, you want him. You know you want him.
Hey, Marshall, do you think the Knicks will win if Brunson 27-5 or if Brunson goes 20-10? Which Brunson should we be looking for this season?
It just can come down to him making the right reads. If it's
yeah.
20, if it's 27
what does Thibodeau say? The game will tell you what to do. The game will tell you what to do.
Yeah. Like,
I got all the faith in the world in 11.
I actually don't know if there's anything specifically he can get better at. I think it's just going to be him get more comfortable being a playmaker, a primary playmaker.
I think going last year through being the head of the snake and having to have a whole game plan around him where now we got Bridges, now you got Randle.
The game's going to feel so easy for him.
It should, and it will. And it will. As the Ghost Rider in the building, my man, the Goat Rider, a $10 super chat. We appreciate you, man. Thanks for being here. Man, seeing you guys in the chat has me pumped up for the season to start.
Goat Rider.
It really does. My man's been showing love for forever now. Mad love. Mad love. Which giveaway did you win? Was it the Josh Hart one? The Josh Hart photo? Or did you win the Wemby one?
I think you won the Wemby one.
The Brunson Wemby one? I don't remember which one it was. Hopefully you still got it. Hopefully you still got it, my man. All righty. It's mailbag time. Let's get into it. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. With the NBA season right around the corner, I thought it would be a good time to run it back with a Knicks Now by Chat Sports mailbag. If you didn't get your question featured on today's show, it means you're not subscribed, so change it. Go down right now, hit that big red sub button, and turn your notifications on. That way you get alerted anytime we go live on the channel. As the Bulls report by Chat Sports, getting a question in. Wonder why they're getting a question in today. It says, longtime viewer, first-time commenter, should the Knicks sign Derrick Rose? Derrick Rose. Yep, Derrick Rose was released by the Memphis Grizzlies. And once a Knick, always a Knick, right? Look, I always am going to have love for D. Rose, man. It's kind of crazy to think that he played 152 games in the regular season with the Knicks. And he was awesome. He really, really was. 14 points per game, 3.8 assists, shot 48% from the deck, shot 34.8% from three. Like, he was really good. And I'll never forget what he did in that 2021 playoff stretch. He was the best player on the team for the Knicks. Randle struggled in that playoffs, and Derrick Rose got added into the starting lineup, and Against the Hawks, he averaged 19.4 points per game, gave you 5 boards, 4 assists, 47.6% from the field, and he became a knockdown shooter from 3 with the Knicks. That's where he took his game as he got older. The athleticism kind of fell off a little bit and became more of a sharp shooter. My answer to you would be, though, I think Derrick Rose probably still wants to play basketball if he's going to be in the NBA, and I'm just not so sure where he'd get minutes for the Knicks. Obviously, Brunson's a starting point guard. You went out and signed Cam Payne. I think that he is definitely going to be a piece of this rotation this year. And then you also traded up in the NBA draft to select Tyler Kolek. Knicks are 3 deep at that point guard spot. And even Miles McBride could be a point guard. I just don't think there's minutes for Derrick Rose to be on this team. As much as I would like to see Derrick Rose back on the sideline being a leader and a veteran on this team, and he should be a guy that gets to win an NBA championship when the Knicks do that this year, I'm just not so sure it makes sense at this point. Would love to see it, but I just don't think it makes the most sense at this time. What do you think? Should the Knicks re-sign Derrick Rose? I'd be very happy about it. I would love to see it. I got a lot of love for Derrick Rose, man. I just, like, when you boil it down to basketball reasons, I don't think it makes the most sense. What do you think? S for sign, P for pass. Shout out to Justin coming in with a question. Says, what up, Marsh? What's up, homie? What do you think the plan is for Leon Rose if he doesn't re-sign Julius? And what if we lose him for nothing? I don't want to be the Clippers. We can't let Randle walk for nothing. Yeah, look, that's the game you're playing at this point, right? Like, there's a chance that Julius Randle is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season, and he could leave you in free agency nothing, just like you mentioned the Paul George situation with the Clippers. What is the plan? Man, I wish I knew. They didn't sign to an extension. They could have did that at the beginning of August. It's now almost October. I don't think an extension is going to be signed during the season. There is a player option at the end of the year. Maybe the Knicks convince Randle to opt into the player option and they give him an extension, kind of like what they did with Josh Hart. But I do think there's a reason, Justin, that we continuously hear Julius Randle's name in trade rumors and why we always hear Karl Anthony Towns as a player that the Knicks are interested in. I'd keep your nose to the streets on that one. I don't know what the plan is. I think they have one. I don't know. Maybe they have concepts of a plan. G5 Weez coming in with a question. Says, at this point with Mitchell being hurt, I'm willing to revisit the Cat trade. The only way you're getting Cat, though, is if you're giving up Randle. Are you G5? Are you trading Randle for Cat? I don't hate that. I don't. And I think Randle's a better player than Cat. But if there's anything I've learned from covering this team day in and day out for the last 4 seasons is sometimes fit is better than having the better player. And getting a guy like Cat, he could be your starting center. He could play the 4. He can close the game at the 5. Yeah, I don't think we've heard the last of Karl Anthony Towns rumors to the New York Knicks. I don't. Eric Noah, what's up, bro? Do you think this season is the best chance to win the championship? Since I've become a fan of the Knicks, yeah. Or since I've been covering the Knicks on this channel, yeah. Shoot, I mean, I was born in 1994. I'm not going to count the title run against the Spurs when I was 4 years old. Outside of that team where the Knicks were the 2nd seed and Carmelo Anthony was 2nd in NBA MVP, yeah, this is the team that's got the best chance to win an NBA title. It is. I think it's open. Yeah, I do. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're just 3 weeks away from the NBA season being tipped off, and we are in a subscriber battle with Boston Celtics today. If you love the Knicks, you hate the Celtics, and you want to go 1-0, and you want to stick it to the losers over at Boston Celtics today, and Smitty, hit that sub button, and let's go Knicks. Nat Wayne, what's up, bro? How do you feel about DeAndre Ayton? I always like to zig when people zag. And I like DeAndre Ayton as a player. I do. I don't know what's in between the ears of DeAndre Ayton. Like, how much does he want to win? Will he do whatever it takes to win? But he's a 7-footer that averages 18 and 10. He's got a mid-range game. He could score on offense. I think he'd be a great center on this team. But you're only getting DeAndre Ayton if you're trading Julius Randle. Are we trading Julius Randle for DeAndre Ayton? Julius Randle's a way better player than DeAndre Ayton. But Ayton also plays a position of need. I see someone in the chat says he doesn't fit the Knicks' identity. Yeah, I don't think he's necessarily a grit and grind, defensive-minded guy, but I think he's an athletic big that could score, can rebound the ball, and he makes you a pretty damn good offensive team. I don't hate the idea of trading for DeAndre Ayton. I don't. Is Randle confirmed to be playing on opening night? Not confirmed yet, Will. Reports are coming in that he could be expected to play and be ready around opening night. ESPN says Randle said his recovery is going well and he's expected to play by or near the start of the season. I wouldn't rush him back. I'd let him gingerly work his way back into the rotation, into the game shape. But, yeah, I think he'll be playing pretty soon, close to that season opener. The Toby L. Hansen says Dwight Howard. I'm good on Dwight Howard. Nah, I'm good on Dwight Howard. Bismack Biyombo. I don't hate a little Bismack Biyombo training camp invite. See if he's got any juice left. But Bismack Biyombo doesn't solve your center issues. What up, eighth row? Trade Randle for Sabonis. I think both teams say no. If I'm trading Randle for a center, it's got to be a complete center. And Sabonis, as skilled as he is on offense, he can't protect the rim. And I see that being a problem with Tom Thibodeau. I like Sabonis' game, but nah, I say no to that. Rashad, what's up, man? JaVale McGee and DeMarcus Cousins are free agents. Would you give either guy a look? Yeah, come play at training camp. But I'm not giving them any guaranteed money. And I still don't think either of those guys solve your center issues. Like, these are half-court heaves for 2 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not even – like, they're low risk, low reward. So it's like, sure, come try out at training camp, but I'm not dying to go out and sign either of these guys, to be honest with you. Steven, what's up, man? Who's the most underrated Knick on the roster? Dante DiVincenzo. The big Ragu is by far and away the most underrated player on the roster. But I could have said Jalen Brunson because I think Jalen Brunson is the best small guard in the NBA, and he doesn't get that love. What we saw DiVincenzo do last year is unreal. He was one of the best shooters in the NBA. He changed life for the Knicks when he became a part of the starting lineup. Wasn't scared to go get work in the playoffs. Game 7 in the NBA playoffs. Unbelievably good. What do you have, 37, 40 points? I think Dante DiVincenzo is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. I really, really do. And I'm a little worried, Steven, to be honest with you. Does the scale back in minutes for DiVincenzo scale back his efficiency? And that's what I'm a little worried about. But I would say DiVincenzo is the most underrated player on this team. Mike G! $10 super chat. What up, Mike G? All the guy does is hit dingers. What's up, man? That's my brother. Marsh, what's up, man? Biggest threat to the Knicks besides the Celtics. Appreciate you and Seeps both not stud muffins. Biggest threat to the Knicks besides the Celtics in the East, to me, is the Philadelphia 76ers. I'm not worried about the Milwaukee Bucks at all. Not necessarily worried about the Magic. I got respect for the Heat, but we should dominate them. The talent difference is just too big. I would say the Philadelphia 76ers because Joel Embiid, if healthy, he's a nightmare for anybody. In the West, I'd go with the Thunder, I'd go with the Nuggets, and then probably the T-Wolves. Those are probably the 3 teams I'm most worried about in the West. But the Knicks are winning the finals. They're all scared of us. Mike G, you're a real one. And that's why Mike G follows me on social media, because he's a real one. Be a real one. Give me a follow. @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter, as well as @MarshallGreen_ on IG. I'm over there. I'm tweeting. I'm posting. Be a real one. Give me a follow. Let's go, Knicks.
Like, gee, appreciate you. Stud muffins. What a word.
Who's the team no one talks about that makes the leap this year?
I think people are talking about them, but I think it's the Magic.
Magic?
I just think you got to, like, Banchero's going to take that jump. Like, that's I think when we talk about, like, off-season moves in the NBA, like, the reason why I love the Thunder so much this year, yes, I love Caruso and Hartenstein. I think those were great pickups, but it's SGA, another year, Jalen Williams and Chet going into year 3. Like, the Magic with Banchero, Franz, I love the KCP get. They're a great defensive team. I think the Magic are going to be a whole lot better than people think. Like, I think they're going to be, like, regular season-wise, they're going to be right there with the top teams in the East.
They added KCP. Did they add anyone else?
No, remember I think they just re-signed all their centers.
Yeah, they paid everybody else. They gave Isaac a bag. They brought back Batatse. They brought back Wagner.
I think the Magic are going underrated heading into the year. I just think it's because it's the Magic. Like, nobody, like, it's the Magic. Who cares? But I think they've done everything perfectly.
A lot of people are trying to hype the Bucks up, and I get it because of Giannis. But outside of Giannis, they're, like, actually a bad basketball team.
Dame, the only argument you can make is, like, Dame wasn't healthy going into the year. He wasn't working out. He's, like, working out with David Goggins right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, Goggins posted a video with him. So that's where I'm, like, a little nervous about the Bucks, where it's like if Dame gets back to
David Goggins, that's crazy.
You know, Chase actually sent me that the other day. Goggins posted it on his gram. So Bucks I'm still a little nervous about.
Can the Cavs get better, or are they kind of stuck where they're at?
I think the Cavs are a terrible matchup for the Knicks. Or the Knicks are a terrible matchup for the Cavs. But the Magic, though, like, they can match your physicality. At least a little bit. Like, I think I would still take the Knicks in 6 in that series, but I wouldn't be shocked if it goes Knicks take the first 2 at home, and then all of a sudden it's Game 5 in the Garden, it's tied up, Knicks handle business.
They just signed Zubac Bing Bong to an extension, so he can't be traded for 6 months. And they gave him an extension. They're not trading him.
I'm not worried about the Pacers at all. I think they're going to flatten out. But yeah, I'd probably go the Magic. It's like my sleeper team in the East. Not saying they're going to win it all, but if they get some good matchups in the first round, I could see them in the conference finals.
I just worry about their guard play.
Yeah. I mean, Suggs is going to have to take that jump.
Like, who's slowing the game down and getting them a good shot in the half court?
You're assuming it's Suggs, or if Banchero goes, like, point forward, which he can.
No, I like their team. I think it might still be a year away. They're definitely a team that's going to be really good in the East for a long time.
Like, them in, like, the next 3-5 years, that's going to be their window, where they're very good, and Banchero's probably a top 10 guy.
Would love to steal their center from them. I love him.
Jonathan Isaac, the healthier he gets, he is a weapon defensively. Because they got 3 elite wings.
Oh, yeah, they're a good team. Wendell Carter, exactly.
Wendell, too.
I love Wendell Carter. Love Wendell Carter. All righty. We're going to sign off on today's show. Major love to everybody that tuned in. Almost 300 people live at one point. Over 2,500 people tuned in. This channel's about to get heating up again. Shout out to everybody that tuned in. If you like, if you commented, if you subscribed, if you super chatted, major love to you. We wouldn't be able to do what we do without you guys. Remember, watch parties for every single Knicks game this year. We're starting with the preseason, so get your mind right and let's go Knicks.